I'm going to be demoing three things here. Two are related to the question library, and one is to chat history. And these are a few features that I don't know that any one specific user has requested this, but they've come from a lot of different users, which means it's an important update to make. Um, and so the first problem people were having was that they could not delete or edit existing questions in their question library. So when we originally shipped that, we had the feature to add them, but we could not edit or delete. So now one thing you'll notice is as you hover over these, you'll notice that there is a trash can right here to actually delete the prompt from your question library. And then there's also an edit option here. So if we click on the edit option, we can go in here and I've got one that's called best candidate, which candidate has the highest level of education. So I can come in here and I can edit it to say, which candidate is the best for a CX role. And I think all this tag that I'm on has mock resumes for a CX role, and I can hit save. And now we get this question updated successfully, go done. And if we go back down here, you can see it's updated the prompt right away. So now we have an updated prompt here. And likewise, I can go over here and let's say I want to delete this test summary. This was an old one I created to test something. Let's delete that. And that one's now gone. Super quick, very intuitive. I think great job on the UI stuff here, Ryan. Any questions on edit, delete?
Love it. Let's have that every time. Every time.
Erica, can you actually, when you say let's have that every time, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, every time that we give a user the opportunity to create something, let's give them the opportunity to edit it and delete it too. I think we've experienced that pain internally, but also when we're on, whether it's office hours or calls with users, that's where we see like, oh, I made that tag 3 times and I say new, etc. So, so love that we're seeing this here. Folks have been asking for it, and UX wise, I think it's a given. If we want to create and destroy in equal measure. And so be able to just build that functionality in from the beginning is my ask.
So for our P team, that's like a philosophy change, right? You can make tags, you can make groups, you can't edit or delete them. I mean, we've just had this approach. We're moving fast. We're going to MVP. We're going to allow people to create. And the request that we're getting from CX is do create, edit, delete as one unit, not just create. And so that means we make create less functionality, but the functionality that we have will work more completely.
Second change here, also in the question library. So another thing users have been asking for, I think a lot from the Kochava team as well, was the ability to kind of reorder or choose which of these prompts actually show up in the 5 tiles here. So the functionality that Brian's implemented here is to pin one of your prompts. So if you notice, there's a little pin icon on the left here. And what's going to happen when you click one of those is it's going to bump it to the front of your prompts here. So let's say I really like this automation summary. I use this all the time. And I'm going to go ahead and hit this pin, and it's going to reload. And now you can see my pinned question is there right at the front, which is awesome. So right now the feature is a binary column. It's a binary attribute, right? Either a question is pinned or it's not. And so the way that we order these things are, number one, all the pins go first, and then within pinned or within unpinned, it's ordered by the creation date. So the most recently created prompts will go first, right? So if I want to go and pin best candidate as well, now I've pinned both of these. I'm not sure which one I created first. Looks like automation I created first. So this one shows up because it's the most recent one that I've created. So right now it's very much a binary thing, but what we've done is we've enabled this in a way such that in the future, if we wanted to actually have the user provide a ranking and choose what goes first, what goes second, what goes third, that's a pretty easy change to make as well. We just wanted to take kind of this step in the right direction so that you could at least pin things from the start.
Connor, did I see you do a sneaky little refresh there to get the first one to show up, or did it do it by itself?
No, I just did it. I haven't
Okay, good.
refreshed.
Awesome. Awesome. I didn't know if you were doing one of those little, I'm going to refresh the page because I know to do it things.
No, it's so this one, yeah. So if we go here, if I unpin, hands are up.
Awesome.
It does.
Awesome. Awesome.
It does a little refresh there. And then the other thing that Ryan added, which is really awesome, I believe is the new modal here for view all. This is all new, right, Ryan?
Yep.
So now you can kind of come in here and you can do all the same things that you could kind of from the UI there, but just in a nice consolidated place. So we can pin, we can unpin, we can edit, delete, create, and you can see all the questions from Storytel as well. So this is a really cool way to manage all of your question library.
Just want to give, yeah,
Yeah.
Connor, I want to give you some kudos really quick. When we were planning the pinning functionality the other day, I was thinking it would just be pinned or unpinned, true or false. And you mentioned we should make it, like a numbered in the database, like a number instead of a true or false value, so that we have the flexibility in the future to do ranking. So I thought that was some good, thinking ahead to what users might be asking for in the future.
Yep. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, that was what they were originally asking for, was the ranking, but it just is a little bit of extra work to get there and figure out how to let users define that. So this felt like a good intermediate step to get there. Okay, and then last one, which has I think it wasn't specifically requested by any user, but we have heard users already talk about how they love this feature, which is when you're in the chat window, you can now use the up and down arrows to go to previous questions that you've asked. And I forget if this is just within the same tag window, Ryan, or if this is across all tags. But to show one example of where this went really well, on our call with Grant yesterday, he had been chatting with like a dozen plus tags at one point in the day and had a great conversation, or had found a great prompt to use, but then he forgot the combination of tags, and therefore he couldn't recover the chat history and find that prompt that he was using. And so one way he was able to do that was by using that up arrow and actually finding that prompt that he was really successful with through there, rather than having to mess around with the tags to find that chat history. So already paying dividends for users with this feature. And I know I'll use it a lot. If you go to my all my knowledge tab, my test question I always ask is, what does ML stand for? I've probably typed this in like over 500 times in Storytel. So just being able to hit the up arrow and find that is going to be way easier.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll just mention that the history works over the entire dashboard, so you can switch tags or do different chats and it'll keep your same history.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a really beautiful example of just one of those like little je ne sais quoi features where it's just like, this platform gets me.
I want to call out something here too, Ryan, that you did that I think you mentioned maybe on the office hours, but I don't know that it came up on last week's demo because I feel like it was in between, but just updating the prompts.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so Connor, you'll see there the first 3 Storytel ones that are listed are from our most commonly asked questions table. So we have the summary, the meeting, and the brainstorm questions. So those should always be the first 3 Storytel prompts that are listed there after your questions.
Mm-hmm.
And right now we're only.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say, unless you add 5 or more questions to your library, then they'll kind of get bumped off for now because we only have the 2 rows, but they should show up. What were you gonna say, Erica?
Well, I'm just gonna make a modification to always. So this is based on our current user data of the questions that are most commonly asked. Thank you, Jing. You created that dashboard. And so when those change, then these defaults would update as well. I would inform you.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, while we're on that subject, one thing, Ryan, that might be kind of cool. I noticed there's this 4 diamonds like icon that's here that helps distinguish. I'm assuming that means it's a user prompt. It could be cool to have like, I don't know, like a person silhouette icon for those ones. And then maybe like I don't even know what you'd use for like the most common world prompts, but just some way to like really distinguish like, oh, these are yours. And like these ones are the most common from all users across the platform or something like that. I don't know. It could be a cool way to distinguish them.
Totally, yeah, it's a good idea. I'll see what icons I have in our icon library, and there's probably one that will match for both. It's a good call out.